Okay, this is another one of my favourite units, which is looking at how to draw a pie chart. Don't worry too much if you don't have a compass with you at home. As you're drawing these, just use any circular object that you can find to trace around. Also, if you don't have a protractor with you at home, then just estimate the angle. If you do have a protractor, please use it and make sure that you are using a protractor in the exam. So we're going to look at this in two ways. I'm going to do it firstly by just using proportional reasoning to help me, and then I'm going to have a look at the formula that we've got written in this red box up above. Now, let's take a look at the worked example. I ask a number of students what pet they have at home, and these are the numbers that I get. Now, what I need to do is I need to share out this circle in proportion to how many people they said they had each of those. So I know that the biggest wedge of my circle is going to need to go to dog, and the smallest wedge is going to need to go to mouse, and I need to take up this entire circle. Now, it's always tempting to just start drawing in angles in here, but before we do anything we need to work out what those angles are going to be. So let's have a look at how I do that. Well, the first thing I need to know is how many people were asked in total. So the first thing I do, I'm just going to label it with number 1 just to show this the first thing I do. I find my total frequency. So 7 plus 8 gives me 15, plus 6 gives me 21, plus 3 gives me 24. So I know that I've got 24 people in total. Now, I'm going to need to share out the entire circle between those 24 people. So I know there's 360 degrees in a circle. So the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work out here, I know that my total angle has to be 360. So what I'm asking is, what do I multiply by to go from 24 up to 360? Well, I can do that by doing the division. 360 divided by 24 is going to give me 15. 360 over 24 equals 15. So I know that I need to multiply my total by 15 to take me up to 360 degrees. Once we've done that, I know that all I need to do is multiply each of these by 15, times by 15, times by 15, for each of those to give me my angle. And that way I can make sure that I've used up the entire circle. So you could get this on a calculator or a non-calculator paper. 7 times 15 is going to give me an answer of 105 degrees. 8 times 15 is going to give me 120 degrees. 6 times 15 is 90 degrees. And 3 times 15 is 45 degrees. And I should just check, if I add these up, I get 105 plus 120 is 225, 315, 360. It adds up to 360. So I've multiplied everything by 15, and I haven't used a formula at all. For those of you who prefer to use a formula, you can just use your frequency divided by total frequency times 360. So we're going to have a look at what that looks like on a calculator. So for the first one, I'm going to do my fraction button. Frequency is 7, divided by the total frequency, which was 24, and I'm going to times that by 360. It gives me my answer of 105 degrees, and you'd do exactly the same to find your other ones as well. Now, you can do whichever way you prefer. I think that this method is easiest for the non-calculator paper. Once you've worked out your angles, you then need to start drawing in your pie chart. So, I'm going to start by just drawing a horizontal line taking me from the centre to the outside. Put my cross on the centre of my circle, there we go, there's my cross, and make sure that my 0 is lined up to the line I've just drawn. Okay, I'm now measuring around to 105 degrees. I'm using the inside circle because my inside measurement is on 0, going around 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way around to 105, which is going to take me up to here. That's 105 degrees. I'm now going to draw that line from the centre to the outside of the circle. That's my 105 degrees. I label it as 105 degrees, and it's cat. Doing exactly the same for the next one. Okay, my 0 now needs to be lined up with the line I've just drawn, and I'm going round to 120 degrees. Again, using the inside scale, takes me round to here. 120 degrees. Draw a line from the centre to the outside of the circle, label it as 120 degrees, and it's going to be dog. Again, measuring from here around to 90 degrees, takes me down to here, that's my 90 degrees. Draw my line from my centre to the outside of my circle for 90 degrees. I can just mark that with my symbol for a right angle, and it's goldfish, and I don't even need to measure the last one because I know that that must be 45 degrees because they've added up to 360, and that's my mouse. There's my fully complete pie chart. Okay, there's 2 questions that I'd like you to attempt to draw your own pie chart. For the first one, it should be fairly straightforward for you to do. It's exactly the same setup as in the worked example. In the second one here, it becomes slightly more difficult because you're going to end up with decimal numbers. You will need to use a calculator here for question 2. You're going to end up with decimal numbers. When you end up with decimals, just round them to the nearest whole number when it comes to drawing the angle, because you're unlikely to be able to draw angles to decimal points. Pause the video, have a go at the questions, and then come back and we'll mark them. Okay, so let's look at the first one. If we added up our total frequencies, we should have seen that we had 20 people who were asked in total. 360 divided by 20 gave me 18, so I need to multiply each of my frequencies by 18. That gives me these angles down here, and we should check that they add up to 360. If you've got those angles right, give yourself a tick. We're then going to put them into my pie chart, so we should see that the biggest wedge, 144 degrees, is Nissan, then 54 degrees to Toyota, 72 degrees to Porsche, 36 degrees to Honda, and 54 degrees to Tesla. Give yourself another mark if you manage to get that pie chart correct. For the second one, it becomes a little bit more complicated. So I added up my total and I got 32. Now 32 isn't a factor of 360. So when we did our division, we got 11.25. We then round everything to the nearest whole number. So you should have got these angles. Now some of you, if you're eagle-eyed, you will have seen that because we rounded more of them up than we did down, our total angle ends up being 361 degrees. That's not a major problem because with the level of accuracy that we're working at, it's just going to mean that this dairy milk one, the last one that we fill in, is going to end up being slightly small. Give yourself a tick if you manage to get your angles correct, and again we've then put them onto the pie chart over here, which should look something like this. Give yourself a tick if you manage to get the pie chart correct. Give yourself a mark then please out of 4. For those who need some more assistance on this topic, please take a look at Hegarty clips number 427 to 429. Well done.